Hello everyone, it's Eric again. Just want to talk about something that's been on my heart today. It's limits, something encouraging though, more like pushing our limits. How do we get the best out of ourselves? And I've been thinking about it. I'm on the other side of 50 now, so probably have more life behind me than I do in front of me, which is fine, but it also lets me question some of the stuff that I think is important that I've never, followed through on, which I think we all do. I was reading something, it says, the only limits we really have are the limits we place on ourselves. So I just want to encourage everybody, to go for it, because I know we all have things on our heart, maybe an innate talent that you just never really paid attention to. For me, it was always writing, communicating, coaching, and I've done some of it, but I haven't done enough of it. And I realize it now. And I remember I read an interesting study once that a group of psychologists went into an elementary school, and there was about 25 kids. And they just did a study, and they asked all the kids, who can paint? 25 hands go up, we can paint. Who can draw? 25 hands go up, we can draw. Who can sing? 25 hands, we can sing. The kids believed they could do anything. Now they did an interesting test. The same group went to a high school in the same town, and they asked the same questions. Anybody here, who can draw? 3 or 4 hands, real tentative high school kids. Oh, maybe me. And even the ones who volunteered that they had some talent, it came with usually an excuse. Oh, I can draw a little bit, but nothing serious. And what it is I think as we get older, we subconsciously and consciously set limits on ourselves. And I think it's a shame. And I do it too. And I'm just, trying to encourage people that, we don't have to. We can definitely push ourselves to do more and to do the stuff in our heart that's important to us. Because I think it's not only how we become the best version of ourselves, but it's how we just connect with other people. And I think the world needs more of that. The world needs more people full of passion, living out their true selves and sharing their abilities and their gifts with other people. And an interesting happened, I try to pay attention, every day, if you pay attention, amazing stuff happens. So just, I was in the gym and I've been watching a guy in my gym for a couple weeks. He just joined about 3 weeks ago. So on Friday, I'm training and he comes up to me and he's like, wow, you're really strong. We start talking. Now the thing with him is, which I found fascinating, I believe, I didn't ask him, but I believe he has cerebral palsy because his legs are really, they're twisted. I mean, he doesn't walk with a cane. He does his best, but he's in there. And the impressive thing is he's fighting every day. And I've been watching him for 2-3 weeks. And I just went up and I just started talking to him to encourage him because he has to sometimes sit down on a bench to balance himself, but he's training hard. And he has what people would perceive as some limitations, but he's pushing through them. And I asked him, I said, it's great you're doing it here. I said, you think I'm strong? I said, I think you're strong. I was looking at him and I was like, you impress me. And you had to see a smile, but I meant it. I meant it. Here's somebody that, you can see it. He struggles to walk, but he's in there weight training and he's training all the time and he's doing the best he can. And I was just blown away by it because that's the point. And it's funny, I saw him today and I made him smile because I saw him before I even did anything. And he's like, how you feeling? And I told him the truth. I said, you know what? I said, I haven't lifted a weight and I hurt all over. And he smiled, because obviously he's hurting too. And he's like, really? They think you're Superman because you train. And no, I'm in pain every day. But the point is that I think we have to push past our self-perceived limitations and do the best we can. And I just really wanted to share that with everybody because I think we can do so much more than we think we can if we get out of our comfort zones. And just something really quick, a lot of times if something traumatic happens to us, we do get out of our comfort zone. So almost 10 years ago, I had a really bad car accident. I was driving on Hunts Point Avenue. I worked down the South Bronx and I got T-boned. Somebody ran a red light and just crushed me. My car spun around. There's trucks going by me and I'm thinking, this is bad. But anyway, I had a little pain in my shoulder and my hip hurt a little bit, but I ignored it. About 3 months later, I'm training and I just feel like tremendous pain in my hip and my groin. I go to the doctor and out of the blue, I need hip surgery and I need a new hip. It was literally deteriorating. And so I went, I'll never forget it. I'm in my 40s. 2 weeks before I'm bench pressing 405 pounds and he's telling me he has to cut out my hip and I have to learn how to walk again. Long story short, he does the surgery. It was hard. I had like a blood clot, but I end up in a nursing home for 9 days. So again, I'm going from being an athlete, a power lifter to somebody who's strapped into a bed. They give me a walker. I have to learn how to walk. I'm in a nursing home because it's also a rehab center. And I'll never forget, I went out there and the average person there was like 80 years old. So I had rehab with people, and it was great. I had a bunch of ladies that go on a tank top. They all loved me and it was just really good. But I remember, God, at one point you get down on yourself a little bit. And I remember feeling, wow, can I ever get back to what I was? I literally had a hard time. I was basically just dragging myself around because I couldn't walk. And there was one beautiful lady, I'll never forget. She was in there, she was doing rehab with me. And I just saw, she had makeup on, she looked great. She was encouraging me because she saw I was struggling. I was a little down, and I wasn't used to my legs not working. And she goes, honey, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be fine. And then she turned to the side. And again, she was really made up and she just looked really nice. But her face was caved in a little bit. And what I found out, and she told me, is she was fighting for her life with cancer. And they had removed part of her cheek. And she's telling me I'm gonna be okay because I had hip surgery. And again, it was like I tell you, these moments I have, I don't think God likes when I have a pity party with myself. But the point is that I got out of my comfort zone and I said, hey, I'm gonna write, I'm gonna do more. It really inspired me because I realized that in the blink of an eye, your life can change, and not always for the best. And my family, we found that out recently. But then what happened is, as the time went on, I slipped back into my comfort zone. Because that's what happens. You forget and you get comfortable and you just do it. So I just want to encourage people, I'm going to make a commitment now too, these innate abilities, these things that are important to you, the things that make your heart sing, you know what they are. And I know it's scary, and even for me, like some of the stuff, I'm like, really? Like, can I coach? Can I do all this stuff? But I believe I can. Can I write? Can I share certain messages? Can I reach out to people? Can you connect with them? I think it's important to listen, so I'm going to try it. I'm just encouraging people to do it because, like I said, I think the only limitations we really have are the ones we place on ourselves, and it's not necessary. So just, everybody out there, thank you, and just reminding you, just be kind, be grateful, but most importantly, be blessed.